like the most important part of the IU experience. It's what IU is to me. I've spent the past 3 years training for it, and riding in the race is really like what I dreamt of for the past few years and just what it means to be an IU student for me. My name is Margaret Tucker. I'm a senior and I have been riding for the past 3 years.
Say does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
Training actually just began 3 years ago, I guess you could say, when I started getting interested in Little 5. Because even after the race, you know, it was always thinking about what are we going to do next year. I hadn't ridden in the race until this year, so really the past few years I've just been training for 3 years straight, and technically training really begins the week after Little 5 because that's when you start thinking about next year's race, when you start working on doing workouts over the summer, and then really the spring semester is where you just kind of give it your all and really push yourself further than you can go and just try your hardest. That's the way we want to say we're alpha! Alpha Sigma Alpha! Riding on the track for the season is always really exciting, but also really nerve-wracking because I'm afraid I'm gonna go out there, forget how to ride a bike, forget how to jump on the bike, forget how to jump off the bike, cause a wreck, all those things. But when I actually get out there and start riding, I remember why I love Little 5 and why I continue biking, and it's just the best feeling ever, just going around in circles on those cinders. Waiting in the pits on race day, I was mostly thinking like, when am I going to go out next and what's going on out there? And I started to kind of forget about like my own nerves, and even when I was in the pit, you know, I was worrying about where my team was, what they were doing, who was out there, what her position was like. Every single time we saw a yellow flag, it was just like freaking out, people running across the track, getting ready to go pick her up and help her out, but luckily we didn't get into a crash. So really, when in the pit, I was just thinking about strategy and worrying about my teammates and how they were doing out there. Hearing my sisters in the stands was a lot of fun. To be honest though, when out there, I couldn't really hear them when I was passing our pit because there was a huge line of pits and, you know, everybody screaming and yelling, and I'd be more focused on what was going on in the pit and what our coach had written on our little whiteboard and what his plans were and what they were trying to tell me to do. But there were a bunch of sisters in one of the turns where there were less people and I could hear them screaming my name, and that really helped me kind of push myself every time I was in that turn and just to go faster and harder.
The whole time!
Surprising because it'd been so many months of training and 6 a.m. workouts and 20, 50 mile bike rides, and it all comes down to this 1 hour long event, and it just ended so quickly. But to get into 12th, we were really happy about that, because it's the best our team has ever done. But at the same time, I wasn't the final sprinter, but the girl who was the final sprinter really wished there wasn't a yellow flag, because she felt she could have gotten us up into the top 10, but since she wasn't allowed to sprint up, she couldn't do it. So even though we did better than we've ever done before, there was still this thought of like, we could do better. How could we have done better? What are we going to do next year in order to make it better? Yeah, of course I'm gonna miss it. Definitely. I'm gonna continue biking and hopefully doing races after college, but what I'm going to miss the most is definitely the fact that this wasn't just a team. These were my sorority sisters, and it was just a way for me to get to know people much better and to know a bunch of people in the IU community. The bike community is so inclusive and everybody's so friendly to each other. Like, I've had a friend get a flat, and one of the boys' teams came and helped us out. We've been lost before, and you know, we'd see another little 5-bike team biking along, and we'd be like, hey, do you know how to get back to campus from here? And you know, they'd point us in the right direction. And it's just this inclusive community where everybody just loves biking, and I'm just going to miss that and miss the whole entire atmosphere of this crazy, strange event. I mean, there's nothing else in the country like Little 500. There's no other collegiate bike race like this, and I'm just gonna miss the entire feeling of Little 500. I'm definitely gonna come back and watch the races in the future and cheer our team on.